The Ferrari F1-75 will be Ferrari's 2022 F1 contender, marking the 75th anniversary of the first car to bear the Ferrari name, and will carry the hopes of ending Ferrari's 14-year wait for a World Championship title. Hello guys, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and consider subscribing to our channel for more content-based formula. With that being said, let's get started. Ferrari's new car is designed to meet radically altered regulations, despite the disruption caused by the changeover to a new set of rules. The team ended 2021 on an upward trajectory. As a result of the regulation concerning the nose, Ferrari has kept its design very long and pointed compared to the rest of the cars launched, as opposed to the Aston Martin, the McLaren, the Haas and the Williams, where the nose of the front wing is attached to the second element of the wing. Ferrari connects all the way to the main plane of the wing, similar to AlphaTauri's rendering. The Ferrari Formula 1 team made some unconventional decisions with its car design, but is able to adapt ideas from rivals if needed, says team boss Matteo Binotto. In addition to the first Ferrari to make use of the side pod design allowed by the new technical regulations, the F1-75 takes a different approach to the front wing elements as well. The team's approach to F1's overhauled aerodynamic rules is distinct from those of other teams. Even though there are differences between the cars revealed so far, it is obvious from the F1-75's aero design that there are many non-conventional choices. Although he is confident that his personnel has made the right choices, he notes there is still scope to adapt alternative concepts. In terms of design, each team has a lot of flexibility, said Binotto. And what you definitely do at the beginning of the season is to look at the other cars to see the concepts they have decided and adapted. If there is a different direction from us, make sure to test it in the wind tunnel. In terms of the body shape we have, it's quite wide. Most definitely we haven't filled up the entire underbody, so we have a good amount of flexibility in the car's centre on the bodywork. In the regulations, the front wing, the nose and the rear wing are quite prescriptive, but the bodywork is quite flexible. If we at least recognise that there are other directions that can be promising, then the way we have packaged our power unit will leave us some flexibility in the future. The Ferrari team, like Mercedes, the world champion team, has been showing off its real design since launching last week. While Red Bull has kept its RB18 secret, launching with a show car, Ferrari has released multiple images of its F1-75 and published photos and footage from its shakedown. Ferrari seems confident in its concept, as evidenced by the fact that Binotto has spoken a lot about the open-minded approach taken in designing this car, as well as how innovative it is. Having considered various solutions before settling on this package, there are also notable features on the Ferrari, such as its brake ducts, suspension setup, rear wing mounts and devil horns on the side of the airbox. Its suspension concept is similar to many other recently launched cars, with a push pod front suspension and a pull rod rear suspension. In the front-on renders and even at the online event, Ferrari avoided showing any information about the underfloor aerodynamic. The inlet to the underfloor is masked out on the renders, and the area was also not shown at the online event. There was no simple matter of taking the concept of the previous car and adapting it to the new rules, said Binotto. Initially, when we read the new regulations, we tried to be open-minded to understand if there have been any improvements in aerodynamics or the overall performance of the vehicle. It has been aerodynamically driven in the design and the development of the new car. All mechanical choices have been a result of aerodynamics, and power unit packaging has been driven primarily by aerodynamics. We tested every possible direction in the wind tunnel to determine which one would be the most effective, and then developed and designed the car accordingly. Ferrari is apparently planning minimal updates to its car during both test sessions because of the scope of the new rule changes, meaning that the F1-75 will still have a lot to learn before its full potential is realised. At the test, there will be a lot of information for the teams to correlate and understand about the new cars, as well as how the cars will need to be set up. It will take a few races for us to learn how to exploit the performance of the car at the start of this season, and I expect this to take quite a while, Binotto said. In my opinion, we will not be able to achieve the full potential of the car in one test. We will start to consolidate and keep the package for the first and second tests of the season. We may see some improvements, but they will be far and few between, because I believe at the very start it will be about mapping understanding, learning, and eventually exploiting the capabilities of the car. On display, there seem to be 4 vertical vanes on the inlet, a feature we have seen on some of the other launch cars, but it is unlikely that the floor is a race spec. In an age where underfloor aerodynamics will determine vehicle performance, it is a possibility that these cars will not have race spec floors. The F1 cars look very similar because in order to keep performance under control, the regulations are very prescriptive and the designers are only permitted to innovate in certain areas. Nevertheless, a trained eye can distinguish several key and often fundamental differences between the cars. These differences explain why one is faster than the other. Governing body has changed the rules regarding front wings. The purpose of the change is to enable the cars to follow each other more closely. Ferrari's approach has 2 potential advantages. The first is that a car with a reduced stalling tendency will be more predictable to drive. The more predictable the car is, the greater the driver's confidence. Therefore, a car with a more predictable downforce but slightly less maximum load is often quicker than those whose downforce is greater but whose maximum load cannot be produced at a constant level. Due to the inherent nervousness of the peaky approach, the driver isn't confident enough to push the limit, as he fears he might lose control. At the moment, Ferrari appears to be the fastest car. It will, however, struggle to match the Mercedes style for absolute load due to the requirement to extend the ends of the wings so much. For Ferrari, there are already clues that they may be attempting to compensate elsewhere for a lack of downforce generated by the front wing. It is possible to produce a lot of downforce in the area beside the driver at the front of the side pods, around what we call in F1 the barge boards. These are the curved pieces that interrupt the main body of the car and they send airflow in the direction the designers want. As a result, Ferrari's strategy could put the team into difficulty as the season progresses, in balancing the car front to back and also limit how much total downforce they could generate. Ferrari might not be experiencing any problems right now, and their car is definitely quick to start the year. I would not be surprised if Mercedes outperforms them as the season progresses, while the Scuderia finds themselves in a rut. We hope this video gave you good insights into how Formula 1 is doing right now. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to see what we post next.